We haven't spent a lot of time in the CrossFit canon talking about the mental or emotional benefits. They're obvious to anyone who's done it or trained, but they're hard to talk about.
Yeah, because it's hard to measure, difficult if not impossible to prove, and so um, we don't talk about it a lot, maybe internally, but it comes up at almost every event we attend, whether it's a 101, a seminar, things like this. We get that feedback constantly, and it's something we all know. I expect it to come with my client. Okay, there's other things. I mean, like this lifestyle is career advancing. I get told that all the time. Well, one of my favorite things about a trainer was with female clients, professionals, to watch them advance through the ranks after the training and then wait for them to come back and tell me that that's why. That I got the partner at the law firm because of CrossFit, or I became city manager, but only my career didn't really find its ascendancy until CrossFit. And so those are things that I tank to the bank. Literally, we bank on them. We count on them. I'm sure it's going to happen, but I wouldn't tell a client coming through the door that I'm going to improve your sex life and you're going to make more money. I mean, we are one of the only services I've ever known of where we radically understate the adaptation, the benefit.
And why? What is it? What's your?
It's the adaptation is so remarkable, no one would believe it.
And you sound like a quack salesman or something.
Right. And so we just kind of keep it under wraps, that keep without too much excitement or enthusiasm, that you're going to look and feel and perform a whole lot better, and that will cover all of it. And then they come back and tell you as though you'd never heard it before, and they're amazed. And
Right.
it is a wonderful thing.
Right. For sure. So again, it's hard to measure, hard to talk about in a meaningful way, and you do kind of sound like a quack salesman when making such broad claims. But just for shits and giggles, speculate about why? Why do you think these workouts in this program, this lifestyle, has such a profound impact?
The brain is in dire need, just like the heart, of high intensity exercise and adequate nutrition. And we just heard enough with Barry here in the inflammatory process, and I'd never seen that stuff on the cognitive, performance improvement,
right,
with the diet. But it comes as no surprise to me at all.
Mm-hmm.
None at all. And there's no one that's gone from a pro-inflammatory, high carbohydrate kind of environment to the zone that won't tell you about improved mood function, and
Mm-hmm.
Now, we don't talk about it, but people that look at this stuff professionally, the people in sports medicine, psychologists, therapists, psychiatrists, they need to be looking at this in a big way. Remember, it's Dr. Michael Norden in Beyond Prozac that said the most effective medical treatment for, and then it's actually 2 full pages of conditions, mental disorder, is the zone diet, is developed by Dr. Barry Sears.
Wow.
And all the things on the list, I either never heard of them, or it was something that we had already seen the positive impact on. Remember, I had a folder of testimonials in 1994, prior to the Zone book coming out, from implementing the Zone diet. We were tipped off and were zoning early. From people that had remarkable transformations on a psychological front. And we never used them, couldn't use them, because it was too hard to believe. And then this book comes out in '96, and here I've got a well-respected clinical psychiatrist, a researcher, explaining a prostaglandin basis and icosanoid basis for many of the things we'd seen. But it was an interesting thing to have a gal lose 50, 60 pounds in weight loss and blood pressure fix, and and come back to tell you that I'm better at work, and my husband loves me more, and just amazing things. I had whole families get off of Prozac and Ritalin, and
Yeah.
on a whole litany of drugs for emotional and mental disorder, and they're all clean now. And we've heard a lot of that. We'll see CrossFit rehab too before too long for drug use.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been hit up with that half a dozen times here recently in the past few months from people in that community, active in the rehab community, professionals that have been implementing CrossFit to great ends, great results.
Wow. Speaking, so there's adaptation that occurs with exercise and with diet, right? So when you first start the zone, if you're used to the typical American diet, it's really painful for a period of time, 2, 3, 4 weeks, depending on how bad it was. And obviously with fitness and weightlifting and gymnastics, you know, adaptation is part of the human species. I remember when I first started training with you back in '04. The adaptation, because I had been in the fitness industry before that, but the piece that I had never experienced was the adaptation to intensity itself. Do you have any thoughts about that in terms of the tolerance of discomfort and the ability? Like I kind of felt like I was shutting down earlier when I first started training at the gym than the other people in the class, you know, who had been training for months. And I wanted to push harder, but I didn't feel like I physically could. And you mentioned just something casually back then about adapting even to intensity itself. Can you speak at all?
Yeah, I mean, look,